they're led astray with this shit. They believe what these people are saying. I've never seen a black and white street. I've never seen a black and white human being. Like, there's a fucking computer getting involved, right? All of this stuff. I want to look natural. Do you know no bigger lie has ever been told? So I get this message from this guy who's talking about this argument he had, or this argument that took place in this Facebook group, debating whether processing your images as a street photographer, does that make the images not natural? And then there's a whole bunch of people in there saying, like, edited images, street photography images are not natural. Is that still a fucking thing? Like, it's ridiculous. It's nonsense. Let me tell you something, right? An unedited digital file looks anything but natural. Most of the time it looks plain fucking horrible and flat, don't it? Like, life doesn't look dull and flat in that way. Cameras don't capture life as it is. Most of them, well, none of them. With that in mind, edit the photographs however you want to edit them. It's your reality that you're trying to reflect, and everyone's reality is different. The way that you see blue is probably completely different to how I see blue. Anyhow, so who gives a fuck? Street photographers are the worst for this kind of thing, you know. And always bringing out the so-called big guns, aren't they? Gary Winogrand, Bresson, McCullin. People have been dodging and burning in the darkroom forever. Like, manipulating how the image looks. Like, that shit ain't natural, is it? And also saying that analogue, like film, is reality, is totally negating and disappearing the whole reality of processing in the darkroom, like the developing process. The photographer David Bailey, who's really famous in the UK, he's a portrait photographer, but he also shot a bunch of street photography and life photography. And he said, and I quote, "When I was on trips, I used to put Polaroids in a container with seawater and sand and pebbles. I'd swirl it all around to get scratches." Like, is that shit natural? Like, also, what about, like, black and white? I've never seen a black and white street. I've never seen a black and white human being. Like, I was chatting to my friend the other day, Chris, about this. He's a proper brainy fucker, he is. And he said, it was great, he said, "We bring out what we want people to see by virtue of the process." I think he said, yeah, the image is all that matters and how it resonates. Look, if it's a competition and it's your, say, Facebook group or your competition that I'm entering and you have these rules and these guidelines, that's fair enough, I'll follow them. And I'll no doubt enjoy the creative potential that these restrictions are going to facilitate. I love a challenge. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who give out unsolicited feedback relative to this, like, nonsense, like, this is the way that it should be. Fuck all that. And it's not so much about us, right? It's about people just starting out. It's just like they're led astray with this shit. They believe what these people are saying. Like, they believe what people tell them. People who've got, have been around for a few years, beginners believe that shit. And my friend Chris, he also said, oh, let's get my phone. Right, so he said, the idea that a millisecond slice of light hitting sliver fragments on black and white film put through chemicals, like how much to agitate, how long in the developer, etc., and then put through an enlarger onto a piece of paper, which then, I told you he was brainy, didn't I? And then goes through all of the other chemicals, again, how long in the developer, that this is natural, that someone would say this is natural, is total bollocks. And he goes on to say, the agitation when developing in a way is a way to determine contrast of the negatives to some extent grain. There's nothing particularly natural about these dark arts. Digital makes these techniques and effects more accessible, and some people resent that. And a partridge in a pear tree. I told you he was a brainy fucker. You see what all this amounts to really is like naivety. Like, people get an image straight out of camera, so it's unedited, and that they think that that's natural. At that point, it's naive. They're totally negating that. They have no idea of the unnatural process that's taking place, either with the film that they're using, like the ISO setting, or modern contemporary cameras. Like, there's a fucking computer getting involved, right? All of this stuff. All this is taking place within, like, a fraction of a second after you hit that shutter. It's all bollocks. But I'm a wedding photographer as well, as being a street photographer, portrait photographer, etc. It's how I make a bunch of my money is from shooting weddings over the years. And sometimes quite often brides will say, oh, I want to look natural. Do you know no bigger lie has ever been told? They don't want to look natural. They want to look semi-processed. Bit of a rant. Guys, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and let me know your thoughts. I want to know. And I'll see you on the next video. Cheers, guys. Bye.